Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to CreativeMelodi. I'm Anthony Frazer, and this is
Marlene Marvelous.
And do we have a video for you?
But before we do,
be sure to go ahead and smash that like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, please go ahead and do so now. If you'd like to follow us on social media, our links are down below in the description box, along with my handle to my Vivo channel, where you can check out all of my music videos. Head on over there, like, comment, and subscribe, and then head back over here.
Well, you can also like, comment, and subscribe on our own personal YouTube channels, which are going to be right here and right here. So if you guys want to take these handles, put that in the search box, go like, comment, and subscribe on his account and my account, and then right back to here, because we love you guys and we appreciate you and we love making content for you.
Yes, we do. And in this video, we are about to dive into the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. We have finally made it, y'all. We have spent about the last 2 weeks going through some previous Super Bowl performances as well as national anthems, and we have given you the rankings of both of the ones that we have gone through and our faves from top to bottom of those in particular. And now we are ready to dive into Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime performance. So without further ado, let's dive in. Here we go.
Until I feel the vibrations, I wanna give you vibrations.
The National Football League welcomes you to the Apple Music Super Bowl 60 halftime show.
Qué rico es el latino. ¡Hoy se ve!
Is that on a sugarcane plantation?
Ey, Titi me preguntó si tengo muchas novias. Ey, en otra, pero no hay boda. Titi me preguntó si tengo muchas novias. Hoy tengo a una, mañana otra. Ey, me la voy a llevar a todas para tirar un selfie. Seis chis, que sonrían los que ya los metí en un VIP. Vamos a tirar un selfie. Seis chis, que sonrían los que se olvidaron ya de mí. Me gusta mucho, se llama Batalía. Tengo una colombiana que me escribe todos los días y una mexicana que ni yo sabía. Y las de PR que toditas son mías. Una dominicana.
I think he's doing fine.
I'm living.
I think a lot of people were saying, oh, well, he can't sing. Well, I mean, he's kind of singing and rapping, but what do you mean? I think he's doing great. I think he sounds great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he kind of sounds like, you know, his
Bad
record.
Bunny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, like, he sounds like his records. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't hear anything off, but, like, I mean, like, I cannot wait to get into this, but, like, I'm already really loving, like, the journey, this
Yes.
performance. I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
We're going through so many different aspects of culture
Yeah.
that we're experiencing right now that, I mean, I can understand why certain people don't sit with it because they don't know it.
Yeah, they can't relate.
Right. But that's your problem, not my problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jessica Alba? Cardi B? Okay, ladies.
Solo aplica, que toda sola trafica, ey. Trae a tu amiga si te gustó la idea. Dile que esta noche vamos a enviar. Estás solo, pero tú te vas a querer quedar. Ey, aprovecha que te para que se lo gocen.
escuchando música de Puerto Rico, de los barrios y los caseríos. Ella viene por ahí, contigo que se te la pi. Ey, que esta noche lo que haya. No te quites, baby, de la disco, baby. Ey, bueno, baby. Acá abajo, baby.
These dancers are killing it. The frog.
Buenas tardes, California.
For a second, I thought that was. For a second, she looked like Gabriella from High School Musical. I was like, what the hell is Vanessa Hudgens doing here?
Mi nombre es Benito Antonio. Y si hoy estoy aquí en el Super por 60, es por... Tú también deberías de creer en ti. Dime, otorga los declaro marido y mujer. Puedes besar a la novia.
I don't even wanna do this anymore. And dollars, the only one we're fighting for. No, nobody's promised tomorrow.
That man was fine.
Tonight's the last night. If the world was ending, if the party was over, I'm gonna hug you a while and die with a smile. If the world was ending, I wanna be.
What in the hell was that little 1-2 cha-cha wannabe slide? I don't know. Lady Gaga. Oh, God. Help. My ancestors are crying. They cannot.
No está vivo, uno debe amar lo más que puede. Ya no tengo mi sol, me paso en la luna. Si te pierdes, mi diablo me llama el milagrito, mi diablo me llama el milagro. Baila, baila, baila sin miedo. Ama sin...
I will say there is something that I really, really like about this because I feel like we're getting to embrace culture on a different level. Like, it's one thing to go ahead and perform the Super Bowl, right? It's another thing to completely immerse us in your world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people don't have big families. I know a lot of people don't go to a lot of big functions and stuff like that. But, like, in my family, like, if I were to put on a wedding, like, I have over 400 family members. Literally, alive, I have over 400 family members. Like, to know where you stop at that extension, you know, is it the immediate family? Is it outside, you know, and what is considered immediate? Is that your mom's brothers and sisters? And what's in, like, your direct grandmother? Or do you add, like, you know, your aunts and uncles that are slightly outside of that, and then their kids, and then who's slightly outside of that, and then their kids? Like, how many people are we going deep? Because, I mean, if we look at my grandmother and her siblings, my other aunts, you know, like, they all have 4 kids or 5 kids each, and then it trickles down from there as well. So, I mean, my family's huge. Like, when we throw events like this, like, it goes on for hours, days sometimes. And I mean, even if we go off, like, the immediate families, you know, like, my aunt and uncle, they'll party 3-4 days. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, kids will be sleeping, the party will still be going. It'll just be like, it's a mix. Like, you come and go as you please. Like, it's not like it's not like it's family, right? It's a celebration. It's not necessarily like, oh, well, we got to be here from 2 to 4 and then we're done. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of, I don't know. like you're visiting somebody, like a friend or an acquaintance that you don't really know them that well, right?
Nueva York. ¿Pero qué es esto? Eso es un ratito nada más. Ey, 4 de julio, que hay con la nota en Javi por Huequitón, hay Willy Colón, me dicen el malo. Un jugador Frido Gala, el perigo blanco. Sí, el tú sí racista. Ey, un shot de cañita en casa de cañita. Ey, pero se siente cerquita. Puerto Rico. Pero siempre aquí. El pop, con reggaetón y dembow.
Quieren quitarme el río y también la playa. Abuelita se vaya, no, suelte la bandera. Ni oran contigo lo que me pasó a Hawái. No, M.E.L.O.D.I, que no quiero que hagan contigo.
Con mucho cariño para todos ustedes. Puerto Monte Carolina, sale reggaetón y los pibes te vayamos. Ey, tu abuela en el balcón cogiéndote los hoyos en la Rubicon. Este es perro, Varel que fue campeón, primero que LeBron. Dar un blon, antes que Pipo le dé un buffet. Puerto Rico está en casa. Ey, pichea Maldivas, yo me quedo en Palomino. Aquí el calor es diferente, el sol está ahí, no. Ey, la capital le falta sazón, batería y reggaetón. Ey, video cómico, le falta sazón, batería y reggaetón. Ey, video cómico. Ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón. God bless America. Serbia, Perú, Ecuador, Brasil, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Panamá, Guatemala, México, Cuba, República Dominicana, Jamaica, M.E.L.O.D.I, mi patria, Puerto Rico. ¡Ahora sí!
The National Football League thanks you for watching the Apple Music Super Bowl 60 halftime show. Switch to Apple Music and new subscribers get 3 months free. Visit NFL.com/live visual album to watch all of tonight's performances.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys know kind of what we did to prepare for this before we watched it, right? Because obviously it's a couple days after the halftime show, after the Super Bowl. So we have kind of acquired some information about what had been going on. If we had seen something, we didn't necessarily fully read it, we just screen grabbed it and then moved on, of like what meanings were behind all this. And then we wanted to kind of go into this blindly, just to have like no objective on it, no bias. And, you know, after watching this for the first time, I can sit here and say that without knowing what he's saying, without hearing anything in particular, and I will say that I understand some Spanish, not a lot. You know, my family didn't necessarily speak Spanish. My great-grandfather did, but the rest of my family was more, you know, English-speaking, because when he came here, he was kind of abused and beat up every day going to school for speaking a language that wasn't English, and he was from Cuba. So yeah, going into this, I do know a little bit of what's being said, but I don't know everything. And just getting a feel and a vibe for everything that we're going through, everything that we're walking through. We're walking through businesses and small businesses at that, not even like corporate businesses. We're walking through small businesses that build and are the foundation of a community, right? We're walking through history of a person who is Latino, who is, and I'll even say Black, you know, because Black culture goes through the same thing, you know. We kind of live in the same areas, you know, and my experiences from when I lived in Philadelphia, it's very immersive what you're in, right? Everyone feels like family. Everyone feels like they know you. You know what I'm saying? Because they do. They know you from when you grew up from a little kid all the way up to your teens into your adult. So like they do know you. It's very immersive, and you can't kind of go into an experience like this without, I feel, paying homage to those who kind of curated you and crafted you throughout your entire life. So seeing this, I feel that I'm witnessing a cultural shift from what may not seem normal to other people. You know, not all of us obviously grew up the same, but this is kind of what I was engrossed in. Growing up in a small community, it was very mom and pop, small businesses. It was very much the people that I kind of like lived on the same street with, that I grew up with. Like everybody was kind of like fighting for the same thing, to just like build up the community together, to make it a small knit family, right? That's the kind of community that I'm getting. And when you needed something, you relied on your family. It wasn't about like,
oh, well, what can I get for free here and what can I do that, and looking for a deal anyway.
It was that we took care of each other, you know? It was about community rather than individual or somebody else coming up and getting something. You know what I'm saying? Like it was kind of like we were all working for the same purpose. And I'm seeing this, obviously somebody got married on stage, and I'm looking at what all is moving through here. I'm seeing Ricky Martin, who was an artist way back in the day. I want to say like the early 90s, right? To the late 90s. He was in M.E.L.O.D.I, the band, when he was younger. I think he was in his teens at the time. And then obviously he went solo and had his career, his successful career as Ricky Martin. I think he released 3 albums as a solo artist. But I'm kind of seeing like this shift, right? Of going from being somebody who is culturally immersed into somebody who wants to become worldwide. You kind of have to give up certain things of your culture and your life, right? You kind of have to give up who you are at the heart to make sure that you kind of play fair in everybody's eyes, right? You kind of look unbiased. You kind of look like you are easily consumed and ingestible, right? By people who speak English, by people who don't speak English, right? And I feel like that right there is a gut-wrenching thing to kind of walk through, because it makes me shine light and think about my great-grandfather and when he came here and what he had to go through and what he had to give up just to be accepted in this community, in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And it also makes me think about the artists, right? It's funny because I heard a lot of talk about, oh, well, he's going to get on the stage and he's going to say Spanish, and Spanish isn't our language here, and he shouldn't be speaking Spanish, he should be speaking English. And I just sit there and I think about all the artists that tour the world that are English-speaking artists. They don't fucking change their language to go to another country to speak a different fucking language to be able to perform. You know what I'm saying? When Britney Spears goes to Japan, does she sing in Japanese? When she goes to Singapore, does she sing in fucking whatever language? You know what I'm saying? Like, when she goes to France, does she sing in French?
Bonjour, mademoiselle. Je proclame le soleil. Je veux m'en venger. Merci beaucoup. Je hurle. Oui, baguette. Bisous.
Canada. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we're talking about artists who have toured the world. Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga. Are these people singing in different languages? It is so rare to find an artist who can speak another language, let alone an artist who is bilingual enough to carry a catalog in another language. True. You know, you have people like, and I know that we rag on her a lot, but Christina Aguilera, she is bilingual, right?
You're bi.
Does she necessarily sound great in Spanish? No, because she has her little, you know, her little dialect that's a little off, right? It's a little white. But she can still sing dual, right? Selena, her first language was not Spanish. It was English. It was very hard for her to transition over to singing songs from English into Spanish. And then obviously she grew up with it. Her father, her brothers and sisters, like, they all kind of like helped immerse her, and she was able to do it more comfortably. But like, it makes me think about the Selena, you know, like, would Selena be successful today worldwide? You know, or would she have been able to, which is what I feel, that she had already opened that door. I feel like, but because we lost her, that door was then closed again. But again, like, would it have been acceptable to speak Spanish? Would it have been acceptable if Selena graced the stage, you know, and did Como la Flor or fucking No Me Quiera Más? You know, like, would it have been acceptable for her to do it? Like, why is it not acceptable for him to do it? It just doesn't make sense to me. And then when people are like,
oh, well, you know, like, yeah, he should be speaking. This is American football, and we know that this is American football because everybody rags on us to say that football is soccer, and that's what football is known across the world as. So obviously this is American football.
It's like, right, so let's not even talk about the topic that Puerto Rico is in America, because we missed that whole fucking subject in class, obviously. But like, let's talk about the topic that, again, every other artist has gone everywhere else. Mariah Carey just did the opening ceremony in fucking Milan.
In Italy, yeah.
And she did half in, what was it, Italian?
Yeah.
And half in fucking English. Now, I mean, like, I'm not saying that that is what has to happen every single time, but like, what if Mariah Carey didn't speak Italian? What if she didn't know? And truthfully, she only spoke Italian for like a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not like she carried a 15-minute fucking Super Bowl performance on her back. You know what I'm saying? Like, she stood there in one position and she sang a minute and a half of that song, and she switched right on over to,
well, this is my new single. Here it is in English.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, who's to say, is that wrong? Is that wrong to do that? And these are the fucking Olympics. These are the Winter Olympics. Why she shouldn't go there and fucking sing in English? She should have to go there and sing in their language. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense, the argument that everybody is making right now about this whole situation. It sounds, I'll be honest, it sounds racist.
Yeah,
it sounds racist. It sounds like you're not willing to budge on culture. You only want to see a representation of you on that stage. And truthfully, what I really wanted to look at, but I didn't get to look at before this, was the actual demographic of who watches football. Like, who watches American football?
Yeah.
I wanted to see the demographic of men and women and different nationalities. Because I don't believe that white men are the number one. I really don't believe that white men are number one. I believe it's black men. And I believe that white men and Latinos are probably second and third. Okay, respectfully. But it really irks my soul that we have to feel that art, which, I mean, art for generations, decades, and fucking centuries at this point, has always been political. It has always been somebody's interpretation of what it is that they want on stage. You know what I'm saying? It is in paintings, in fucking music, in poetry, it is people's lived life experiences that are being put into their work, right? Who would I be, right? Anthony Frazer, who would I be as an artist to sit here and say, what can I write and sing that is going to be easily digestible by everybody the fuck around me? Who would I be? I wouldn't be Anthony Frazer. I'd be blank, sign your name. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody fill it in. When you are doing something like art, you're getting up on stage and you're showing a representation of yourself that is supposed to be authentic, and it's supposed to be you. It's not supposed to be digestible. It's not supposed to be easily consumed. Some things are hard to watch. Some things are supposed to be opening up our eyes to real reality. The people who live in this fucking blase blah world that,
oh, I'm rich and I can afford what the fuck ever I want and I don't have to do this, and this if I don't want to do it.
you don't. Your money gets you nowhere when you die. You know what I'm saying? When you're done and you're off the face of this planet, what has your money gotten you? A plot in the ground. Or a wall. Your spirit ain't here no more. You know what I'm saying? The fact that this man, throughout the entire performance, had a message of love and acceptance and was trying to showcase something that was not only authentic to him, but he was hoping was relatable to a mess in America. A mess in culture, a mess in the entire world. He was showing, what he was showing on that stage was, it is 100% okay to be yourself. You do not have to be like Ricky Martin and take yourself from being Spanish speaking to being English speaking to being consumed by everybody across the world. Music is universal. And if you're going to sit here and say that you don't understand what the fuck was going on, then music isn't universal to you. It's not consumable to you, so it's not universal. And that is actually incorrect. Music is universal. You should be able to go anywhere and everywhere, be able to play your songs the way it is. K-pop would not be that big. K-pop, Korean pop, which is very big in all the Asian fucking sectors of the planet. But it is huge in America. Why is it huge in America? Are they speaking English? Most of the time, no. Some of the songs that go on radio have to then be dissected into half English, half, Korean or Japanese or, Chinese, whatever the dialect is that they're using. To sit here and say that you don't understand it, well then why are you listening to it?
Yeah.
K-pop Demon Hunters was the #1 fucking movie on Netflix. And you're telling me that we can't listen to Spanish at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
That is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my life. The dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my life. And it's blatantly racist. There's no other way to cut it. No other way to cut it. But I will also say, touching back onto Lady Gaga, I appreciate and applaud Lady Gaga. I have heard some information about Lady Gaga, so that is kind of a bit different in what I'm going to say. But when it comes to Lady Gaga, I heard that she was approached to do this performance, which I know that we talked about. Mm-hmm. And supposedly the original offer was sent to Christina Aguilera, allegedly, that I heard. And she had turned it down because what they were trying to depict here was, he says, "Are you listening, America? Is this what you want?" Right? And he's talking about, putting up somebody on stage who is going to sing in English and is going to play this facade of throwing in a Latin style or Spanish style behind it to make it consumable for the Super Bowl and for the world, And I appreciate Lady Gaga for doing that because, again, like Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin, Christina Aguilera wasn't willing to not only do that, but admit that she has been that type of artist. And it's not to say that she's wrong, right? to sit here and put her on that stage and say, look, you know, you had to speak English to play this role, right? Well, that's not necessarily wrong. Christina Aguilera is supposedly bilingual, right? She is Spanish, right? Aguilera. I think she's Colombian. I think that's what her last name is, and what her father is Colombian. Now, knowing that, right, and knowing that she is bilingual, you know, she did, again, come from Disney. She came out, she did her first album. It was in English. She did a first album derivative to that in Latin. And that, too, was in full Spanish. What was that? My Reflection? Mi Reflexión?
Mi Reflecto?
Mi Reflect... What?
Is it... Yeah, Mi Reflecto? Isn't that what it is? Discography? Yeah. Mi Reflect...
Mi
Reflejo.
Mi Reflejo?
Yeah. Yeah, Mi Reflejo.
Okay. So yeah, that was her first Spanish album. And now she didn't do another... Go back. She didn't do another Spanish album. From the first one was in 2000. The next one was in 2022. It took her 12 years, right?
No, 22.
22 years to do another Spanish album.
Well,
right?
Yeah, and technically she had the EPs that came out before the album.
Correct,
but
yeah, like the 2020 and 2021, I think it was.
No, it still came out in 2022.
Those EPs for the album.
The EPs still came out before the album, but they came out around the same time with the album as well. So,
well, isn't that like the first half and the second half?
Yes.
And then they were married together for the album?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, now, Christina Aguilera won Latin MTV Video Music Awards, won a Latin Grammy. Again, you know, is that to say that she's not digestible in that community, in that sector, even though her, you know, language is English for most of her albums? Is that saying that she shouldn't be an artist in Latin culture? You know, or, you know, if she doesn't think that she belongs on that stage because she wasn't technically I don't know if she feels like she's a sellout by going English instead of Spanish, or she feels like that wasn't me because I didn't do that. I wound up doing Spanish as well because I thought, well, I could, you know, gain a career and an audience from this. You know, like, is that playing into something, or is that being yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like, and who is to necessarily say that if you are born in, and I feel like a multiracial background or a biracial background, like, who's to say that you can't have love and acceptance for both?
Yeah.
You know? But like her doing that and her saying, no, I don't want to be a part of that. But then Gaga saying, you know what? I will take on that. Even though Gaga doesn't have a background in Spanish. No. You know, Gaga doesn't have any type of Latin in her. No. Right? She's Italian.
Yeah.
But I feel like she understood the bigger picture of what it was. She didn't care if she was going to be the person to make the example out of, because she was setting the example of what we shouldn't be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same thing when people back in the day, and I'm going to say this, but blackface, when people back in the day would be white and they would play black characters. Wrong. Just hire them to do the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But instead you want to do X, Y, and Z about them, and most of the time you made fun of them, and you didn't see anything wrong with it. There was even that one guy that did it a couple years ago to Kim Kardashian. He showed up at a party and in her face played blackface. And I think she had just gotten over being in a relationship with Kanye at the time.
Yeah.
But like, disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Disgusting behavior. We should not be, and again, I say this lightly, but I mean it intensely, right? We should not be willing to give somebody who is white the ability to play Latin or to do certain things in different parts or sectors of the music and say, you're acceptable but somebody who is Latin and who does the music and presents it and is a #1 fucking artist for the last 2 years who has beat out Taylor Swift on both Apple Music and Spotify and Amazon, and say, you're not acceptable to do this. It is your culture. We're going to get up here and say that the white girl can do it? Why can't he? You know what I'm saying? It's the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking thing. I feel like we're just repeating history over and over and over again. It's just different characters every time it happens. It is different characters who are playing these roles, you know? It is different people who are enslaved. It is different people who are, you know, the minority at the moment. It is different people. Not too long ago, Italians were the mafia. They were the bad guy in the movies. Did we forget about that? Whatever happened to them being the mafia and the bad guy? Now it's Black and Latino people. Let's just be honest. Like, let's call a spade a spade. I don't understand why people have such a negative thing to say about this. This performance felt like love. It felt like an immersive moment into a culture that I feel like more people should have. You should have learned about working together as a community to build something. You should have learned about to be able to get through. We, as a family, as a togetherness, as a community, have to get through. If something happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. I don't think we've had that at all. I really don't. And the fact that he gets up here on stage and he shows what is authentic to him, what is a part of America that is authentic to a lot of Americans. And you don't have to just be from Puerto Rico. I was from Philadelphia and I felt the same thing. I was from a small community. There was the mom and pop shops that were all around me. There was the bodegas and the corner stores and stuff like that. There was the people that not only ran those businesses, but they lived in my community. We were all part of it. You know? I would go to the stores. They would want me to do well. They would see me. I would want them to do well. Like, it was a community thing. It was a community thing. Again, when they would have weddings in my family, because obviously I'm not married, but when people would have weddings in my family, it was like, that was a friend. That was a neighbor. That was a person that you brought in to a wedding, that you brought to your grandmother's 80th birthday party, you know? It felt like family. It's bigger than just one person. But I'm going to go ahead and give this a 10. I absolutely loved it. And if you didn't and you have a different opinion, don't even worry about putting your fucking comment below because I could care less. How about you, though? What did you think? Because we have different backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know? Yours is, you know, not slightly different. Drastically, I feel different. In where you grew up and your family and how close, you know, the relation was to you, and because your dad is Mexican.
I'm going to give this a 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start off with the performance itself, right? Let's talk about that and just kind of dissect that for a little bit, right? And talk about it. I think he did absolutely amazing. Like, I thought he was very phenomenal. I'm sitting here thinking, like, Michael Jackson probably would be so fucking proud to see this kind of performance, because I feel like this is very on par to what he would kind of present on stage, right? The theatrics, the everything.
Spectacle.
Yeah, the show. Literally the storytelling that we got from the first second of this performance, right? Literally opening this up as like a autobiography, right? Like, and being taken onto this journey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really incredible. The dancers did fucking amazing. Danced their fucking ass off. Mm-hmm. You had fucking live bands. They did fucking amazing. He was great. You had Gaga and Ricky Martin on there. They were also great too. Like, I just really liked everything about this performance, right? I just feel like that this it's very, this performance is very important, you know, and now I feel like we can kind of talk about a little bit more like the messaging behind all this and stuff, and my own personal feelings about this. Like, here's the thing. So, I'm half Mexican, right? And I didn't necessarily, like, grow up with a lot of Latin culture, you know? For me, like, my dad was very much like, you live in America, there's no point in teaching you Spanish and stuff. But, like, there'd always be things like, you know, like, you need to, like, eat spicy food to grow hair on your chest, which I was just like, okay, Dad, whatever. Like, you don't want to teach me Spanish, but you want me to eat spicy food. You don't care if I listen to Spanish music or I watch, you know, Spanish TV shows or anything, but like, you want me to act a certain way as a man. Okay, that's whatever. But that's also like machisto culture, you know, like that's that very toxic masculinity ideology culture that happens in Latin cultures and stuff. And what is it? For me, like, do I understand what he's saying? Not really. Like, I can pick out some words here and there, but, you know, like, I'm trying to learn right now, and, you know, I still think, like, it's still important to kind of, like, you know, celebrate yourself and celebrate your culture and where, like, you know, you come from and, like, your ancestry. And, like, I don't know, I still, like, really enjoyed it, and I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I didn't necessarily, like, grow up with these things, right? Like, this wasn't me, but I still, you know, could feel, like, a sense of pride as someone who is, like, Latinx, you know? And, I don't know, like, I think that, yeah, and I think, like, also just kind of, like, even, like, getting really deep and serious about this, like, you look at, like, what's going on right now in this country, right? And I feel like that this is such an important message to be really saying, and to really be showing that, like, there shouldn't be any sense of shame or having to, like, or fear. There shouldn't be any shame or fear in celebrating yourself and who you are, because at the end of the day, like, this is what makes America America. You know what I mean? Like, you want to sit here and say what is and what isn't, but I'm like, truthfully, like, at the end of the day, this is stolen lands, you know? And I know a lot of people get upset when they have to hear that.
Oh my God, this is stolen lands, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's the truth. I don't know.
100%.
I don't know if you know, opened up a history book. Sounds like you didn't, but, you know, that is the truth. And whether you like it or not, and it's not that that's to make you feel ashamed, but that's to make you.
Oh, no, it is.
Well,
I want people to feel ashamed.
Well, okay, but like it's to point out it's more so, I feel like for me it's more sense of being humble. Like, understand, like, you know, yes, you might be born on these lands, right? You were born on these lands. But were your ancestors born on these lands? No. So
unless you're Native American.
Yeah. Well,
that's
like,
why they have that in their name.
Yeah.
Native American.
Well, and it's like, you know, you look at something like even like Mexico, right? Like Arizona, like here in Arizona, this
was part of Mexico.
Yeah, this was part of Mexico, you know, like
California.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned.
Texas.
Yeah, like these are my people's lands, you know? So it's just very interesting to me that, like, you know, now we always have, like, it just had me to hear this debate, especially like from people who, you know, like, just, I don't know, like coming from people who are talking, like, want to talk about Christianity and want to talk about, you know, love and all that stuff, right? And Jesus and whatever, right? It's funny because, like, you're talking about, you're supposed to be spreading a message from someone who's an immigrant, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so it's just funny that, like, and it's just hypocritical that you want to talk about love thy neighbor, but then there's some exceptions. There wasn't any exceptions in the Bible. That's when that was written, when that was said, that wasn't an exception, you know? And I guess also another thing I do kind of want to say, because recently there was some conversation that we were kind of in with someone a few days ago. I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to point out names. I'm not going to say whoever. I'm not going to be specific about this person, right? The only thing I'm going to say is this. At the end of the day, every ethnicity that exists in this country has, in some way, shape, or form, affected the community and affected the culture and the economy of this country, right? So to sit here and say that you are not affected by something that goes on from another culture, to me, I'm going to say is very ignorant. And I don't understand how you expect someone to have to feel sympathy for you if you feel like you shouldn't have to feel sympathy for someone else. Now, I understand. Listen, there are a lot of things that go on in this country, and I can understand why that some people just get a bad taste in their mouth from certain situations and all that stuff, right? So I get it, right? But to sit here and say, well, these people voted for this person, so therefore, like, I'm not going to feel bad if this person and his people come after this group of people because my people were already under oppression. Okay, that's understandable, right? And that can go in any direction. That can go for Blacks. That can go for the Latinx community here in America. That can go for Asians. That can go for Native Americans. That can go for any people of color, Middle Eastern people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone that is a person of color has been affected in some way, shape, or form by this country, right? But also, all communities have affected the economy and have affected the culture and the community here, right? And I feel like to sit here and say that, like, you are not gonna care is just a little ignorant to me, you know? And like, because let's be real, Black people have created agriculture, technology, art that is still being consumed to this day.
Space.
You know, it's all being still used to this day by everyone. Everyone. Not just white people, not just Mexicans, not just whatever. Everyone is using it. Same thing with Mexicans,
GPS.
Puerto Ricans, Cubans, you know, Muslims, Native Americans, the Japanese, Chinese, you know, like everyone, Koreans, like that's the thing. Like everyone's nowadays using Korean skincare. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the thing. Like, I just don't understand, like, you know, the sheer, like, laziness, sheer ignorance, like, the lack of responsibility. I don't know. I just feel that, like, at some point we should all feel like that, especially if you want to, especially in this country, right? Like, the idea is for all of us to be together, right? I feel like we should all just sit here and say, like, let's try to lend a hand to someone else, you know, even if you can't understand them, you know, like he was saying, like, K-pop is popular here in America. Do any of you know what they're saying in Korean? Do you know what they're saying in these K-pop groups? I highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure you had to go use Google Translate. You know what I mean? Same thing with someone like Bad Bunny. Did you understand what he has to say? No. But the real thing is, you're not really listening for the language. You're listening because you enjoy the music. That's what it is, and that's all that it is about. That's all that it should have to be about. It's just the music. Just enjoy it. You know what I mean?
This has just become so politically blanketed that it has gone from a Super Bowl performance to political statements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean that from the right wing and the left wing. I feel like everything is so divisive about, like, well, this is culture and this is this and this is that, and then the other side's like,
This is what we don't want. This is blah, blah, blah. This is why we have to get people out of here. All this other shit.
and to kind of piggyback off of what you said with, you know, people saying that, well, if they voted for them, then, you know, my people voted for this. You know, that's kind of how, like, well, it's going to trickle down. You know that, right? Like, it may just be, you know, the Latin community today and Black community tomorrow and Asian community, because you see what happened on the last time with COVID. It was Asians. Asians were on the chopping block, and so were the Blacks. And then it was the Latin and the Blacks in this one. It's like, people just don't understand that once these two minorities get uprooted, they're already working on the third and the fourth. LGBTQ community. They're already trying to extinct our ass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at it, if you look at the statistics, and let's, for a second, I'm going to dive into this, but a little caveat here. They're trying to wipe out LGBTQ and Black people, right? Because based on the research, the most people who have HIV, right, are LGBTQ or Black, right? Or some kind of Latin, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're already developing, they already did it in the state of Florida, where they are removing you having access to life-saving medication. And I'm not saying like if you need it and if you're dying. No, if you have HIV, they are saying you cannot get this medication anymore because it's too expensive and you need to make less money. So you need to be less of a positive impact on the money flow in America. You need to take a back seat and make less than $20,000 a year, which I don't know who the fuck can make less than $20,000 a year and survive off of it, because even making $65,000 a year, I'm still not even able to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I make $60,000. You make how much? Like $40,000? So between the two of us, we're making over $100,000 a year, and bitch, it is a struggle. Life, help, you know what I'm saying? And you're expecting somebody to make a fifth of that? A fifth, and survive in America. Girl, get real, you know what I'm saying? They're taking it away from people who don't make less than $20,000 a year. So what they're expecting is, they're expecting people who have HIV to then just die. That is less of the LGBTQ community, and that is less of African American culture. Are you getting the picture? And if they've already applied this in one of the state that's doing the harshest bullshit right now, can you imagine where this is going to transcend? Even if it's a gradual in between the middle of North America. Even if it's vertically like this, it goes from Florida all the way up to Washington State. It's going to divide. It is going to divide. You're going to take out majority of the states out of this country. But it's not going to affect those states. You know why? Because most people who are LGBTQ and African American don't live there. They don't live there. So it's not going to affect those states. And it's only going to make things worse for the LGBTQ community and for Black and Latin culture. Again, a problem with one of us is a problem for all of us. Because when they're done doing it to them, it is going to trickle to you. So we need to be worried more about united we stand, divided we fall, than divided we stand. Because it's not going to work that way. It is going to make the most sense to approach this as we all do it together, or we're going to just watch people get taken out left and right, like they're already doing. What do you say to the people who say that this shouldn't have been political?
Suck a dick. I mean, like, no, for real. Like, I mean, look at, like, Shakira and J.Lo. I mean, I feel like it was still a celebration of culture, but also at the same time, you know, showcasing and talking about something serious. You know what I mean? Especially at a time where things were, like, heating up politically and getting, like, pretty serious and dark, you know? So I feel like that, yeah, no. Why can't he? I mean, honestly, I feel like what he said a lot more than most people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest, I feel like we were in such an uproar, and the, you know, current administration was doing everything that they can to talk about this in a negative light and to shine negative light on it, so that we didn't talk about what's going on in the Epstein files to be honest with you. But I also feel like this every single year, because when Shakira got on stage with J.Lo, I didn't hear many people talk shit about J.Lo besides the Mariah fans and myself. But I did hear a lot of people talk negatively about Shakira. Not only because her singing in Spanish, but also because of the dancing on stage was, you know, suggestive. She's got a song called Hips Don't Lie. She is known for the belly dancing.
Also, everyone in that audience was standing up.
Right.
Well, not just in the Shakira and J.Lo thing. I'm talking about like Bad Bunny.
Yeah,
I'm talking
Bad
about
Bunny's audience.
Bad Bunny's audience was literally standing up. You could see it.
You could see people in the background that were blurred out because obviously how they shot it was more cinematic. But you could see the people in the background were still dancing. Like, that's crazy to me. But then even like when they were talking about Shakira with the tongue movement.
Yeah.
Saying that was like, you know, what was she was like trying to like, I don't know, Lucifer or something like that.
Well, and it's funny because that's
Lucifer, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Lucifer is an artist that we reviewed on this channel.
Yes,
a friend of ours.
Which hopefully we get to review. But actually, someone in the comments a couple of days ago said something. The gesture Shakira made during the performance is called I don't know how to pronounce it. It starts with a Z. Zagrato? Or Zagruta? Zagruta? Or
Ululation.
It is a traditional Arabic vocal expression and used to celebrate joy or strong emotions, and is commonly heard at weddings and festive occasions across the Middle East and North Africa. So, I mean, like, again, we're bringing culture and diversity into these performances and stuff, and it's just funny because then you have like people talking like, oh, this is like satanic and evil and I don't understand it. Well, if you don't understand it, then just shut the fuck up and open a book. Get educated. Like, why open up your mouth if you don't know something? Why can't you shut the fuck up and read? Why can't you shut the fuck up and do some research? Figure it out. What is this shit? Why haven't I heard about it? You know, like, I mean, I didn't know the fucking technical terms of all this shit, but I mean, I've seen people do it before.
Right.
Did it bother me? No. Okay, cool. That's their thing. Good for you. Like, enjoy your life.
I don't know. I just feel like more and more and more things are going to happen over the next couple of months and so-called years, for as long as this man is still in office and his minions that are below him are in office. But it's just going to get worse, y'all. It's just going to get worse. I feel like we've been at this for like over an hour, so I kind of do want to end it here. But this is a longer conversation that needs to happen, truthfully. Today, it's a Bad Bunny performance. Tomorrow, it's your neighbor that was trying to peacefully protest that's been shot. You know what I'm saying? So it's only going to escalate things. Things are only going to get worse. We need to be awake and we need to be aware. Those are two things that if you don't know what they are, you maybe go take a dictionary out and look it up. Webster's Dictionary. And maybe even Urban Dictionary, because that'll help you understand what people are talking about it in a slang term. You know, like us children today. Since the, you know, older people don't know what we're talking about. But I highly doubt they're watching this channel. Yeah, anyway, that is it for this video. We will see you in the next one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification button for all future videos. And we will see you very soon. And by the way, if you didn't like anything in this video, give it a thumbs up. Bye for now.
Bye!
Until I feel the vibrations.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. Be sure to keep watching. There's plenty more videos to go through. plenty more.
Go check it out right now.